Hey everyone, thanks for being here, thanks for watching, and thanks for the support. Today we're covering BMW and their lineup for 2024. Not all bikes have been updated yet. Whether they are being discontinued or just not yet updated, I don't know, so we'll cover all that's available on the website. As always, my lineups are coming from the US, so if you live in a different country, you may see a different set of bikes, since what is available differs from country to country with most bike manufacturers. Also, prices are MSRP in US dollars, but several of the 2024 versions don't have the official MSRP numbers listed yet. I've done some looking around and made estimates based on what I found on the website for those bikes, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, starting at the bottom of the list with the urban mobility category, that's what they call them, I call them scooters. These have all been updated for 2024. First is the C400 GT, which is a 350cc single cylinder with 34 horsepower and 26 foot-pounds of torque, 30.5 inch seat height, 3.4 gallon tank, and weighs 472 pounds. Comes in 3 colors. Price starts at $8,250, same price as 2023. The next 2 urban mobility bikes are both electric. The CE02 is a brand new model for this year, has about a 55-mile range and 15 horsepower output motor with 40.5 foot-pounds of torque. It weighs 290 pounds. 2 charging options. The standard charger takes 160 minutes to go from 20% to 80%. So that's 2 hours and 40 minutes. The quick charger takes 100 minutes or an hour and 40 minutes to go from 20% to 80%. Price is $7,600. The CE04 has about an 80-mile range and 42 horsepower output motor with 45.7 foot-pounds of torque. Comes in 2 colors, 30.5 inch seat height, weighs 509 pounds. Price is up $400 from last year, up to $12,200. Standard charging time from 0% is 3.5 hours to get to 80% and almost 4.5 hours to get to 100%. The optional quick charge makes a big difference in that, dropping it down to about an hour to get up to 80% and an hour and 40 minutes to get to 100%. Sorry BMW, I am not going to spend 12 grand on an ugly bike that only goes 80 miles before it has to sit for several hours before I can use it again. I know this is supposedly the wave of the future, with regulations pushing manufacturers away from gasoline engines, but just no. Hey folks, just wanted to say thanks for all the support this year. I hope you all had a great Christmas and have a safe and happy new year. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We've still got a bunch of 2024 lineup videos to do yet, so hit that notification bell as well so that you know when they come out. Thanks everyone. Appreciate being a part of this community. Alright, moving on to the adventure bikes. We have 7 bikes. 4 of them have not yet been updated to 2024. First is the 2024 G310 GS with a 313cc single-cylinder engine, 34 horsepower, 20 foot-pounds of torque, 32.8 inch seat height, 3 gallon tank, weighs 386 pounds, up $200 from last year to $5,900. ABS and LED lights are standard. I'm going to predict that it's probably the case with most, if not all, of their bikes. We'll see what happens. Next is the 2023 F750 GS, not yet updated, 853cc parallel twin, 77 horsepower, 61 foot-pounds of torque, 32.7 inch seat height, 4 gallon tank, weighs 493 pounds, costs $10,000. Incidentally, many of these bikes have seat options that lower or raise the seat, so be aware that if you don't like the seat height, you might be able to add a different seat that either makes it lower or higher. It's usually about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. Some of them are maybe an inch or so, but there are some options for different seat heights available. Not on all the bikes, but on many of them. Next is the F850 GS. 2 models here, both still in 2023. They both also have the 853cc parallel twin that the F750 has, but this engine has been tuned up to 90 horsepower and 63 foot-pounds of torque. Base model has a 33.9 inch seat height, 4 gallon tank, and weighs 504 pounds. The F850 GS Adventure has a 34.4 inch seat height, weighs 538 pounds, and has a much bigger 6.1 gallon tank. It comes with hand protectors and an adjustable windshield, as well as some other upgrades. Price is $12,600 for the base model and $13,600 for the Adventure model. Next is the R1250 GS, 2 models here as well. Both have a 1254cc Boxer engine with 136 horsepower and 105 foot-pounds of torque. The base model has not yet been updated for 2024. 33.5-inch seat height, 5.2-gallon tank, weighs 549 pounds, costs $18,000. The 1250 GS Adventure has been updated for 2024. 35-inch seat height, massive 7.9-gallon tank, weighs 591 pounds, and the price has gone up $2,000 to $22,415. The last of the regular adventure bikes is the R18 GS. This is a brand new model for 2024, 1300cc boxer engine with 145 horsepower and 110 foot-pounds of torque, 33.4-inch seat height, 5-gallon tank, weighs 523 pounds, 4 riding modes, heated grips, cruise control, tire pressure monitoring, all kinds of features come standard on this. Price is $19,900. We're going to switch to the Roadsters. These have all been updated for 2024. At the bottom is the G310R, 313cc single cylinder with 34 horsepower and 20.6 foot-pounds of torque, 30.9-inch seat height, 2.9-gallon tank, weighs 362 pounds. I believe MSRP will be $5,200, which is up $200 from last year. Next is the F900R, 895cc parallel twin with 99 horsepower and 67 foot-pounds of torque, 32-inch seat height, 3.4-gallon tank, and weighs 465 pounds. Price appears to be $94.90, which is up $500 from last year. Up next is the S1000R with a 999cc inline 4 with 165 horsepower and 84 foot-pounds of torque, 32.7-inch seat height, 4.4-gallon tank, weighs 435 pounds. Price appears to be $18,335, which is up $4,400 from last year, which is a really big price jump. Last of the Roadsters is the R1250R with a 1254cc boxer engine with 136 horsepower and 105 foot-pounds of torque, 32.3-inch seat height, 4.7-gallon tank, and weighs 527 pounds. Price appears to be just over $16,000, which is up about $1,000 from last year. On to the sport bikes. The first two of these were in my adventure category last year. Not sure why. Now they're listed in the sport category. Maybe they're considered adventure sport touring or something. I don't know. First is the 2024 F900 XR. This has an 895cc parallel twin with 99 horsepower and 68 foot-pounds of torque, 32.5-inch seat height, 4.1-gallon tank, and weighs 482 pounds. Price looks like it's going to be $12,765, up about $1,000 from last year. The other is the 2024 S1000 XR with 999cc inline 4 with a whopping 170 horsepower and 84 foot-pounds of torque, 33.5-inch seat height, 5.2-gallon tank, and weighs 500 pounds. Looks like the price is $18,665, which is up about $1,700 from last year. Next up is the 2024 R1250 RS, same engine as the R1250R Roadster. This has all the same specs as the 1250 Roadster, except weighs a few more pounds with the extra fairing. Looks like it costs $17,315, up around $1,600. Last of the sport bikes is the S1000RR. This 999cc beast has 205 horsepower and 83 foot-pounds of torque. You'll see this engine in other bikes as well. We'll get to that. 32.4-inch seat height, 4.3-gallon tank, weighs 427 pounds, top speed of 188 miles an hour. MSRP isn't available, but lowest price I found was about $24,000, which is up $6,000 from last year. Next up is the Supersports, the M Series. 3 bikes, all M1000 models, all updated for 2024. First is the M1000 XR, 999cc with 201 horsepower and 83 foot-pounds of torque, top speed 170, 33.4-inch seat height, 5.3-gallon tank, weighs 492 pounds. Price is expected to be about $25,000. Next is the M1000R, same engine with 205 horsepower, 32.6-inch seat height, 4.3-gallon tank, weighs 439 pounds. Looks like it's going to be $27,000. If that's the case, it's a price increase of about $5,500. Top speed is 174 miles an hour. Last of the Supersports is the M1000RR. Same engine, top speed of 189, 32.8-inch seat height, still has a 4.3-gallon tank, weighs 425 pounds. Price appears to be $38,750, up about $5,750 from last year, if the pricing information I found is correct. Not sure on that yet. Okay, moving on to the retro classic bikes. We have 4 models in the R9T series. None of these have been updated yet for 2024. We also have the 2 R12T bikes. I believe those are brand new for 2024. We'll get to those. I believe all the R9Ts have an 1170cc boxer engine, 109 horsepower, and 85 foot-pounds of torque. We start with the R9T Pure with a 31.7-inch seat height, 4.5 gallon tank, which weighs 483 pounds, price is $11,000. Next is the R9T Urban GS, 33.5-inch seat height, weighs 492 pounds, costs $13,000. And also the R9T Scrambler, slightly lower seat height of 32.3 inches, also costs $13,000. And then last of these is the base regular R9T, 31.7-inch seat height, 487 pounds, price is $16,000. Next up is the R12 9T Retro, brand new bike here, same engine, general weight range of 485 pounds, slightly smaller tank of 4.2 gallons, 31.3-inch seat height. No info on price yet that I could find anywhere. We're going to switch over to the cruisers and start with the brand new R12 cruiser. Looks similar to the R18. This has the 1170 boxer engine that the R9T bikes have. This has a little bit less power, 95 horsepower and 81 foot-pounds of torque, 29.7-inch seat height, 3.7 gallon tank, weighs 500 pounds, no price on this yet. Next we move to the R18 cruisers. There are 5 models that have all been updated for 2024. They all have the 1802cc boxer engine with 91 horsepower and 116 foot-pounds of torque. These bikes have more power than Harley's 107 engine, about the same amount of power as Indian's 111. Base model of the R18 has a 27.2-inch seat height, 4.23 gallon tank, weighs 761 pounds. Base model does not have cruise control from what I can see. Price is $15,000. So far it's the same price as 2023. Next is the R18 Classic, 28-inch seat height, same size tank, weighs 805 pounds, has spoked wheels, saddlebags, and a windshield. These are partial saddlebags only, not the full ones. Price is $18,000, same as last year. The R18 Octane is the blacked out version with full-size saddlebags, no windshield on the stock version. This is a brand new model for this year, 28.3-inch seat, same tank, weighs 825 pounds. Definitely a competitor to the Harley Road King Special or the Indian Springfield Dark Horse, but a much lower price, starting at $19,000. Next is the R18B with the fork mounted fairing on it, 28.3-inch seat height, now a 6.3 gallon tank, weighs 877 pounds. Cost is $20,000, same as last year. This is a competitor to the Harley Street Glide or the Indian Chieftain. Weighs about 50 pounds more though, but costs quite a bit less. Cruise control and radio are included, of course. Last of the cruisers is the R18 Transcontinental, 29.1-inch seat height, 6.3 gallon tank, and weighs 942 pounds. This includes the tour pack on the back, and base cost is $24,000. Great prices on these R18 bikes when compared to Harley and Indian, and with better features than Harley with more power for sure. This brings us to the last category, the touring bikes, obviously excluding the cruiser touring we just covered. These have all been updated for 2024. We have one bike I would call a full sport touring, the R1250 RT, the 1254cc boxer engine with 136 horsepower and 105 foot-pounds of torque, has a 31.7-inch seat height, 6.6 gallon tank, weighs 615 pounds, and costs $20,700, up $1,000 from last year. Next is the K1600 series, which encompasses the remaining 4 models. These all have a 1649cc inline 6-cylinder engine with 160 horsepower and 133 foot-pounds of torque, 7 gallon tank on all of them as well. The base model is the K1600B with a 29.7-inch seat height and weighs 758 pounds. Price is $23,850, up $1,300 from last year. The K1600B also comes with the Option 719 Midnight Paint Scheme, which costs about $2,500 on this bike. Next is the K1600 GT for $24,300, up $400 from last year. 31.9-inch seat height, and weighs 756 pounds. There is no option 719 paint scheme for this bike. Next is the K1600 GTL, the Grand Touring Luxury. 29.5-inch seat height and weighs 789 pounds. Has a ton of features on it. Heated grips and seat, a whole bunch of different stuff. Price starts at $27,300, also up $400 from last year. Again, no option 719 midnight paint scheme. Last is the K1600 Grand America. Same specs as the GTL, but weighs 20 pounds more, has a tour pack on the back. Starting price of $28,130, which is up $665 I think from last year. This does have the option 719 midnight paint scheme available for $25.95, taking the price for that one up to $30,725. That is it for BMW, folks. Quite a wide range of price changes from last year, anything from $0 all the way up to $6,000, and just a couple of new models being introduced. The thing that's impressive when looking at the specs for the BMWs is the power on these bikes. These are very high-powered bikes, have a lot of cool features on them, really nice looking as well. So thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. We'll see you on the next one.